Hi everyone, today I want to talk about female villains, specifically female psychopaths, the likes of Amy in Gone Girl, Emily in A Simple Favor, Villanelle in Killing Eve, and others, to understand what they have in common and why we seem to enjoy them so much. Let's start off by saying that clinically speaking, these women are affected by antisocial personality disorder, which in the popular mindset is incorrectly referred as psychopathy. This terminology is so pervasive that this is the type of term that I will refer to for these characters in this video. But keep in mind that this diagnosis is clinically incorrect, and so this video shouldn't be taken as anything more than a video essay analyzing fictional characters. One thing that this TV series portray very well is the typical traits of a psychopath: the general disregard for other people, the lack of remorse, sexual promiscuity, and the general charm that they are able to generate. In A Simple Favor, Emily's mercurial personality showcases this capability of being lovable one moment and scary the next.
Did you just take my picture?
I'm yearbook mom.
Did I ask you to take my picture? Erase it.
Oh, you look really chic. It's just for faces and places. It's just for the other parents.
Erase it, or I slap a fucking injunction on your yearbook. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's gone. Ugh, bye-bye.
Don't do that again.
Just like flipping a switch, these characters keep everyone around them and us as an audience always a little bit off balance. They always appear to be in control, except when they decide to utilize narratives of victimhood to help in their manipulations. Both in A Simple Favor and in Gone Girl, Emily and Amy do in fact hurt themselves pretty severely in order to position themselves as the victim. And this is because mostly these women's main objective is control, something that they're willing to achieve by any means necessary. David Fincher portrays this very well in Gone Girl. The director is famous for his use of the camera and how he utilizes it to literally center a character, often in close-up, to make us enter and focus solely on its point of view. For almost half of Gone Girl, Fincher focuses mostly on Nick. He always occupies center screen, even in the scenes that he shares with Amy. And that's because one, Fincher was to trick us and distract us for the twists that are about to come, and two, because Nick himself is not just literally but actually in control of the narrative. Because despite the confusion about what happened to his wife, Nick in its arrogance believes to be in control of himself, his life, and Amy as well. Once the film reveals that Amy faked her death, that's when the battle for control of the narrative begins. Suddenly, we realize the movie is not about Nick at all. It's not another crime story of a murdered woman. Amy is very much alive and she demands center stage. The same need for control is evident in Killing Eve, where the game of mouse and cat between two women, Villanelle and Eve, is not really about competition as usually depicted in story featuring more than one female character, but rather about the control that both want to exercise on the other. That's where the main tension of the series comes from. In Gone Girl, Nick will try to regain that control again, but it will always elude him. In the scene where he needs to literally look in the camera to speak directly to his wife, he's uneasy, unable to regain the powerful centered position he had before. As the audience, we're literally guided into shifting our perception of this power dynamic. And that's how the twist in Gone Girl feels even more dramatic. The narrative change is not what we're used to. The female character is not a victim, she takes center stage, and that destabilizes us. When we realize where the narrative is taking us and see how a woman who was not supposed to be the focus has calculated her way up to the center of the screen, that's when the movie starts to become really unsettling. Killing Eve uses this uneasiness too in the very first scene. In a Viennese cafe, we see Villanelle for the first time, an apparently harmless, sophisticated woman smiling at a little girl. Then as she exits the cafe, she smacks the girl's ice cream off the table and she smiles at the havoc she has caused. The reason why this scene, as other scenes employed by these movies and TV shows, is particularly unsettling is because for a long time we have been fed the narrative that women are supposed to care. In Thoroughbreds, a 2017 film about the weird friendship of two teen girls, one a self-confessing sociopath and the other a surprising psychopath, we see how the privileged Lily, groomed to perfection, is completely indifferent to anyone around her. In a scene, a sociopath Amanda teaches Lily about how to fake cry. The girls learn to master the appearance of typically feminine emotions in a way to trick those around them.
The technique.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You can just do that on cue?
Years of practice.
Can you teach me?
There is something but disturbing and freeing at the same time about watching women that simply stop being polite and give in into their worst impulses.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Don't say sorry. You don't need to do that. You don't need to apologize. It's a fucked up female habit.
Male characters have been allowed this trait for a long time. We call them bad boys. But despite we are very aware of the common vocabulary of defining a woman or a girl that's psycho, in entertainment we've seen how these women are actually supposed to be tamed and restricted. In one word, controlled. Movies and TV series like Gone Girl, A Simple Favor, Killing Eve, and some others show us instead what happens when they're the one running the show. Typically, all these characters are afforded some degree of sympathy. For example, A Simple Favor shows us the abusive relationship the twins have with their father. Thoroughbreds show us how Lily is stuck in an unloving house with a complicit mother remarrying for money. And Gone Girl goes even further by delivering several scenes and dialogue showcasing how Amy is constantly forced to play a part for the amusement of those around her. Her parents first with the perfect, amazing Amy, and Nick later with the cool girl stereotype.
Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is game. Cool girl is fun. Cool girl never gets angry at her man. She only smiles in a chagrin-loving manner and then presents her mouth for fucking.
It's only when she's placed in the scorned woman stereotype by Nick, a role which Amy absolutely hates, that she decides to use and twist society's role of the victimized woman to her advantage in order to ironically escape the constricted norms of her gender. That's how we partly sympathize with these female characters, because we recognize their intrinsic need for revenge. In the same way, a nerdy kid may grow up rooting for Clark Kent becoming Superman. However, the difference with previous villainous representations of women is that those backstories don't make up for a redemption arc or a punishment in the final act. Good old movies like, for example, Cruel Intentions, use this formula up to a certain point, and then deliver the expected retribution to their evil female characters. But with these new narratives, we are forced to recognize that at the end of the day, these characters are unapologetically bad, and that's the true revolutionary portrayal of these modern female villains. Popular culture has used female villains in the past, specifically molding the evil dames of 40s noir films to the likes of Alex in Fatal Attraction. However, these characters are firstly typically obsessed specifically with one man, whereas the likes of Amy Dunn are completely narcissistic and mind-blowingly entitled. As we have seen, Gone Girl is really not about Nick that much, it's about Amy's need for control. Secondly, these characters were almost always represented as femme fatale. Their power was almost exclusively related to their feminine wiles. Yet Emily, although occasionally using seduction, doesn't need to use it as her primary feature. She has other tools at her disposal. Villanelle as well is never overtly sexual. She encompasses both masculine and feminine qualities, making her character very complex, calculating, and far more dangerous. In fact, Killing Eve does portray, as Gone Girl does, how this mentality favors them.
I said it was probably a woman. Victor Kedron was a misogynist and a sex trafficker. He may not have considered a passing woman a threat.
Eve's boss is unwilling to even consider the killer being a woman. Women are victims, not assassins. So whereas men psychopaths or villains in general have been afforded the luxury of being bad just for the sake of it, we've never seen a corresponding female version of a morally corrupt and violent Tony Soprano, for example, or a disturbing character like Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or an equally provoking Alex Delage like in A Clockwork Orange. Somehow we thought that it wouldn't work to have females as disturbing as these male villains, because women villains or female characters lacking morality and seeking violence are seen as simply not existent, and if they do exist, they are a rare aberration of their gender, ergo they're not believable in those roles. Yet the success of this type of movies and TV series show us that there is a market for this narrative, and that audiences find interesting not only female characters that are bad, but also those who are downright evil. What do you think? Do you enjoy these types of movies, and why do you think you do? Let me know in the comments below, and as usual, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like this one, video essays and reviews about TV series and movies and in general popular culture, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button for more. Thank you.